Hello. Today we'll be discussing the PIF1, RPA, and the FEN1 modulate the ability of the DNA polymers to overcome protein barriers during DNA synthesis. And in order to get into this video, we kind of need to go over what DNA synthesis is. DNA synthesis is the DNA attaching to nucleotides, and a nucleotide is going to be phosphate, consisting of a phosphate, a sugar, and the base. And it's interesting to know that during DNA synthesis, it does go from the 3' to the 5' direction always. However, in the DNA polymers, it is going from the 5' to the 3'. And in order to have this happen, and adding those nucleotides from the 5 that the DNA polymers does, it is going to need to have the primers that can execute that process of going from the 5' to the 3', since the DNA synthesis is always going in the reverse direction because DNA is anti-parallel. They will need to have the Nick transferring occurring, and Nick transferring is also super interesting because that's what's going on whenever there's like a lot to go on into cell biology, and DNA polymers as a protein by itself, like, it's so interesting, all the scientific discoveries that are being made available more often than ever before. The article that I am doing my research on today, the discoveries were in 2020, so only just 3 years ago, and it's by there's three authors, M. Sparks, P. Burgers, and R. Gelato, and it was done at the Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biophysics at Washington State University of the School of Medicine in St. Louis, Missouri, USA. So like I was mentioning about the DNA polymers moving from the 5' to the 3', you must have a primer that can extend from the 5' to the 3' in order for that to happen, alongside with the presence of magnesium. And we propose one function of the FEN1 during the Okazaki fragmentation mutation is to prevent the potential deleterious activity of the PIF1. All of these words are very overwhelming to me, but if you were to just take those individual, they look like they're abbreviations, but in fact they're not. The PIF1 means that, the FEN1, that's just what we call it. And those Okazaki fragments of mutation are whenever you've got your DNA strand, which is running alongside like this pretty much, and then that's whenever it begins to open up. So it's running alongside like this, and then right here it starts to open up and creates that entranceway. And we're gonna say that this one is 5' to 3', and we're gonna say that this bottom one is 3' to 5' because they are anti-parallel. And on this one, this would be the lagging strand, and this would be the leading strand because it's easier for the DNA to replicate in a forward motion versus having to go from on the bottom one here, to go from the 5' to the 3', because that's the way the DNA polymerase works. And it's having to it's going 5' and building up this way, but it's constantly lagging because it's having to go back to where it's continuously splitting open. Let's see how long we are on our video. We are at that 4-minute mark, and this was a 3 to 4 minute video, so I feel like I'm going to go ahead and stop here. There's a lot more to go into, and I'm going to have an additional video and paper that I can pair up with this. If I were to end it on anything else, we can also talk about that the nucleotides sometimes appear to be blocking those polymers in the DNA synthesis, both in vivo and in vitro, possibly limiting those strand displacements and synthesis to prevent the excess of re-replication. Whenever you've got the re-replication going on and on and on and on, that's whenever you're more likely to have those deleterious activity, which is causing harm or damage. And we don't want to have any necessitating instances. So, yes, I feel like I covered a good little bit here today. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.